I'm 75 now, and I can't remember anybody being there. It must have been so difficult being a solitary woman. I'll always remember that smile. That smile is unforgettable.
No one, not even certain members of her own royal family, have ever warmed up to Queen Camilla. There has been increasing concern over the future of the monarchy since King Charles's cancer diagnosis, despite the respect she gained at her coronation as Queen Consort. A lot of people are starting to worry what would happen to Queen Camilla if King Charles were to die before her. Come watch this video with us as we speculate about the future of Queen Camilla. What would occur to Queen Camilla in the event that King Charles should pass away first? It's no secret that the newly installed British monarchs are well into their twilight years, and this fact alone has piqued the public's interest in the succession. Many people are curious about Queen Camilla's future function and royal title in the event if King Charles were to pass away before her. After much anticipation, King Charles III was crowned King of the United Kingdom on May 6th at Westminster Abbey's long-awaited coronation ceremony. 20 million people in the UK tuned in to see the momentous occasion. Many wondered in the days leading up to this momentous occasion if Camilla would be bestowed a new title upon Charles's coronation. As soon as the ceremony began, all doubts were put to rest. Camilla and King Charles were crowned queen. Following the death of Queen Elizabeth II in September 2022, Queen Camilla was officially bestowed the title of Queen Consort. Camilla was publicly sanctioned to carry the title by Queen Elizabeth II on the day of her Platinum Jubilee. When Prince Charles became king, Queen Elizabeth expressed her desire for Camilla, who was Duchess of Cornwall at the time, to be called Queen Consort. 17 reports that the public commonly calls her Queen Camilla, while her formal title is Queen Consort. This means that she is not a sovereign in her husband's right or a joint political or military commander. Many royal observers are now wondering what will happen if Charles dies before Camilla, now that he is king. This would result in Camilla being officially known as Queen Dowager Camilla. It is customary to bestow the title of Queen Dowager to the spouse of a monarch who has passed away. The succession to the throne would be impossible for Camilla. The fact that she does not share a common ancestor with any member of the royal family means that she will not be able to inherit the throne. Shortly after the death of Queen Elizabeth II, a strategy called Operation Menai Bridge was devised to be ready for this possibility. The specifics of the plan are still under wraps, but rumor has it that it will be structured similarly to Operation London Bridge, which oversaw the transition that occurred after the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Funeral arrangements will be initiated without delay upon confirmation of King Charles's death. Prior to being shared with the general public, the news will be communicated to the government and Commonwealth leaders. Following a period of national mourning, a solemn burial service would be held at Windsor Castle's King George VI Memorial Chapel. Prince William, as the eldest son of King Charles, will succeed to the throne upon his death. Catherine, Princess of Wales, his wife, will succeed Camilla as Queen Consort once she assumes her present position and title. After Prince William dies, the throne will be passed down to his children in the order of their birth: Prince George, Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis. In the event that Prince William were to pass away while his children were still too young to assume their royal responsibilities, Prince Harry would step in as regent, acting as king until Prince George reached the age of majority. A regency applies if a monarch succeeds to the throne before the age of 18, or if a monarch becomes permanently incapacitated due to infirmity of mind or body. This is what the UK Parliament says. The line of succession continues with Prince Louis, who is Prince William's younger brother, and continues with Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, Prince Archie, and Princess Lilibet of Sussex, who are Prince Harry's children. Queen Camilla's future after King Charles's death is a topic of much speculation. In light of this, let us examine her potential next chapter and function more closely. A far more significant matter, a plan, lies behind every ceremonial royal event, wave from the palace balcony, and carefully phrased public remark. The handbook is thorough and closely guarded, intended for a funeral, not a celebration. The strategy was dubbed Operation London Bridge, for the benefit of Queen Elizabeth II. As for her son, King Charles III, a new strategy called Operation Menai Bridge is in the works. The Queen's passing prompted the clandestine formulation of this strategy. It's a detailed plan for a country's mourning process, including how the administration will adapt and the royal family will publicly display their sadness. As soon as Charles breathes his last breath, the plan will start. However, Operation Menai Bridge will hold a lot more significance for Camilla than just a public program for grieving. It will be the turning point in her entire position inside the royal hierarchy. The scene opens with a hush. The first to know will be the royal aides who are employing code names. Up next, the Prime Minister will have an impromptu phone conversation. The message will be brief. The Menai Bridge is down. Flags will be lowered to half-mast nationwide. Each person will be given a black armband. We will activate a public calendar that is properly scheduled. The news of the king's death will spread over the globe within a few hours. There will be a dramatic and symbolic shift for Queen Camilla. The term Queen Dowager Camilla, which is both historically significant and laden with finality, will replace Her Majesty going forward. It doesn't have any clout, no enduring impact, and no place at the power table. Already symbolic, her crown will serve mostly as a reminder of a bygone era. In the early days of sorrow, Camilla would reportedly take a conspicuous role, according to sources close to the palace. Following the casket, she will make her way. She plans to go to church regularly. During her stepson's coronation, she will observe the ceremony silently by her side. Do not be fooled, though. The purpose of these public appearances is not to maintain her celebrity status. These events mark the conclusion, not the beginning, of her pivotal role within the royal family. It won't take long for things to alter within the palace walls. We will be reassigning offices. Employees will change their attention. Following that, the group will focus just on Prince William and Princess Catherine. As she gradually steps away from the limelight, Camilla, who was formerly one of the most famous royals, will take her place. In those quiet times, people make decisions that no one else will witness. These decisions are emotional and personal. How long will Camilla stay at Clarence House, the mansion she and Charles shared? Or will she downsize to a more private home, as has happened to several dowagers in the past? Will she be able to retain her employees, protection detail, and government grants? To tell you the truth, nobody has a crystal ball. In spite of all the established royal customs, Camilla's family has always done things their own way. Being queen wasn't her destiny. Nobody thought she'd be able to survive the animosity. This was not planned to be her final appearance. It was still her doing. But there's no wiggle space when it comes to Operation Menai Bridge. Love and loss aren't its intended uses. No matter who is knocked down, the regal wheel will keep whirling. Even though she has spent many years by the crown's side, Camilla will eventually lose her position of power. Camilla will maintain an air of quiet dignity during King Charles's funeral. With poise and composure, she will express her grief. However, the balcony waves will come to an end. No fresh accolades. There will be another tale happening in the background when the United Kingdom lowers its flags and bows to honor a monarch. A lady who ascended to the throne painstakingly over many decades will start to fade in the span of a few days. Her likeness and legacy will live on. Even now, she'll be wearing a title. However, her role in the royal saga will diminish in the future. At one point in her life, she was the object of tabloid speculation, the object of photographers' fixation, and the object of severe criticism from royalists who thought she had ruined a fairy tale. Years of secrecy, controversy, and planning allowed Camilla Parker Bowles to rise to the position of queen. With King Charles's departure, she will now be formally known as Queen Dowager, a moniker that evokes royalty but conveys a more subdued meaning. Elegant, dignified, and historically steep. That's how it sounds. The truth, however, lies underneath that elegant title and is often disregarded. The traditional role of a Queen Dowager is that of a king's widow, who is revered but has no say in the matters pertaining to the succession to the throne. She may be greeted with a bow and referred to as Her Majesty in some ceremonial contexts, but she will no longer be asked for her opinion at royal ceremonies. She will not have a say in the matter. She will just play a symbolic role, one befitting a queen. Truths like these may be more difficult for Camilla to confront than anything she went through when being the lover of Prince Charles, or when she was the most scrutinized woman in Britain. Even when she was the center of attention, she had a plan back then. A part was waiting for her. Even while she will continue to wear expensive dresses and jewelry passed down through the generations, she will no longer play an essential role in the palace's plans. Hidden from public view, palace insiders will start referring to her as the Dowager. State visits, grand openings, and the honor of stepping proudly behind a monarch will come to an end. After Princess Catherine and the heirs win the throne, she will reclaim her rightful place at the end of the line. Someone who worked as an advisor to the royal family in the past has said that she will serve as a symbol of the past that the family is ready to leave behind. It isn't mean. That is just how it is. Tradition is paramount in the realm of royalty. Buckingham Palace revealed King Charles's corrective procedure to address a benign enlarged prostate on January 17, 2024. He was anticipated to have a short recuperation period after the therapy. On January 26th, he had the operation done at the elite London Clinic facility. January 29th was the date of his release. Afterwards, on February 5, 2024, a statement was issued by Buckingham Palace announcing that Charles had been diagnosed with cancer. The particular form of disease was not mentioned, although it was clarified that it was not prostate cancer. Another health concern was discovered during the king's recent hospital procedure for benign prostate enlargement, the statement stated. A kind of cancer has been diagnosed through further testing. The king expresses his profound gratitude to his medical staff for their prompt action, which was enabled by his recent hospital operation, according to the official statement. Officials from the palace said that he started outpatient cancer treatment on Monday, February 5, 2024, and that he is hopeful about the outcome of his therapy. He plans to resume his full public responsibilities as soon as possible. Despite Charles's absence from public life, he met with Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, on February 21st. Throughout his health journey, the king had received incredible support, which he reflected on during their encounter. It was a pleasure to see him looking so good, the Prime Minister told him. Charles lightheartedly joked, "It's all done by mirrors," in response, and Sunak reassured him, "We're all behind you. The country stands behind you." The footage of Charles's response was obtained by the BBC. Charles mentioned that he has supported several cancer-related organizations for a long time, and the talk also touched on how the announcement of the king's condition has brought attention to these causes. On Wednesday, King Charles of the United Kingdom talked openly about his cancer diagnosis, calling it a scary and sometimes terrifying experience for people dealing with the disease. At a reception hosted by cancer support groups at Buckingham Palace, Charles spoke about how, despite the terror it inspires, illness also brings out the best in people. It may be an event that brings the finest of mankind starkly into focus, as someone who is among those impacted can attest, Charles added. He went on to say, "Having this disease has made me even more grateful for all the amazing work that the amazing organizations and people here tonight have done, many of whom I've had the honor of meeting, visiting, and supporting throughout the years. It has reaffirmed what I have long observed during these visits, that the darkest moments of illness can be brightened by the greatest acts of kindness," the king reflected. Charles mentioned being moved to tears by the thousands of messages of support he received when he first received the diagnosis. He remarked, "Such kind thoughts are the greatest comfort and encouragement," when asked about it. The true question, for those who are interested, is how Queen Camilla became Queen Consort, despite widespread public disapproval and outrage. Find out by continuing to watch. On May 6, 2023, the country anxiously awaited the placing of the crown on Camilla's head. Royal consorts typically view coronations as solemn occasions to honor their country and fulfill their ceremonial duties. However, Camilla found it to be much more intimate. It was the turning point that revealed decades of secrecy, controversy, and a carefully crafted public persona. Not everyone was ecstatic. Some people rejected her. And yet, there she stood, crowned alongside the man who had waited a lifetime to be king, adorned in regal robes. The move from Camilla Parker Bowles to Queen Camilla was more than simply a change of titles. It signified a significant turning point in history. People were led to believe she would never become queen for a long time. To pay homage to Princess Diana's memory and the hurt she caused, a lower title like Princess Consort was thought to be appropriate. However, a shocking statement that caught even the most devoted monarchists off guard arrived with Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee. As soon as Charles became king, Camilla would become Queen Consort, a title bestowed upon her by the late Queen. In a single speech, Queen Elizabeth changed the nation's expectations and transformed tradition. It was more than just an authorization, it was an order. But not even that strong recommendation could make things easier. In official terms, Camilla is the queen. Yes, it is correct. She was crowned, took her place ceremonially, and was called as Her Majesty. However, the distinction that matters most is that her actual title is Queen Consort. No royal authority is held by Camilla, in contrast to Queen Elizabeth II. She lacks the authority to legislate, represent the crown, or rule. It is a ceremonial duty for her. Royal etiquette determines her position. The fact remains, Camilla is there, but she isn't the center of attention. No matter how great the gold embroidery, majesty of the choirs, or archaic rituals may be. The day of the coronation did not obscure it. Charles made an impressive and symbolic entrance. Camilla's was more subdued and controlled. Though magnificent, her crown was really a reused piece from Queen Mary's collection. Despite its gracefulness, her garment lacked any emblems of absolute dominion. There was an underlying message sent by every detail. She was important, but she was not the foundation of the monarchy. However, a startling development started to unfold in the days that ensued. There was a change in public sentiment. Even the most ruthless of newspapers began to soften. Her calm demeanor was praised by royal journalists. Her composure was lauded by critics. Even Camilla's detractors acknowledged that she had done the unimaginable. She had persevered. Some started to view her as the one who helped keep the monarchy together through turmoil, divorce, and loss, after years of controversy, waiting, and silent perseverance. Nevertheless, there was an unseen price to pay for this newfound humility. The more put together she appeared, the more concealed her innermost thoughts and feelings appeared to be. "She wears the crown," a royal source supposedly stated, "but she knows it isn't truly hers." Rumors circulated among palace officials and advisors behind closed doors, a sense of discomfort that she had stepped into a role that was never hers. The ideal candidate for that position would be someone who could be loved, admired, and kept out of the spotlight. The title of Queen Consort may bring Camilla popular esteem, but it cannot provide continuity, especially as the monarchy prepares for an uncertain future, one that might be plagued by illness, bereavement, or transformation. Simply said, the illusion will vanish the moment Charles leaves. Even though she was crowned not victorious, but with a compromise, Camilla will now have to confront the long-suppressed truth. Her title was always intended to be ephemeral. It was at a polo match in Windsor Great Park in 1970 when Charles and Camilla first crossed paths. Lucia Santa Cruz, a mutual acquaintance, introduced them. Their chemistry was instantaneous. Allegedly, Camilla told Charles, "My great-grandmother was the mistress of your great-great-grandfather," referring to her great-grandmother's affair with King Edward VII. This was spoken in jest. "I sense that we share a commonality." Royal chronicler Penny Junor claims that Charles was utterly enthralled at first sight. He loved that she smiled with her eyes as well as her mouth, and laughed at the same silly things he did. Junor wrote of Charles in The Duchess, The Untold Story, adding that Charles adored Camilla for being relaxed, sociable, and naturally charming. She failed to exhibit signs of being a sycophant or being unduly submissive. Furthermore, she did not fawn over him. As a result of his intense feelings for her, he started phoning her frequently following their initial encounter. Before Charles's 8-month deployment to the Caribbean with the Royal Navy, the pair had a steady dating relationship. There were obvious problems with the prospect of Camilla marrying the future king, according to Charles's cousin Patricia Mountbatten, who subsequently informed Bedell Smith. Even if it seems antiquated now, Camilla's previous relationships were a major roadblock. The heir to the British throne was expected to marry a lady who gave the impression of being virgin, according to Bedell Smith, who said, "The conventions of the time dictated that." Mountbatten agreed, saying, "You didn't want a past that lingered." They broke up grudgingly because they knew marriage was out of the question. Andrew Parker Bowles, who had dated Charles's sister Anne before, had proposed to Camilla by the time he came back. Until 1995, they remained a married couple. Supposedly devastated, Charles went so far as to attempt to halt Camilla's wedding. Using a letter Charles had written bemoaning the fact that such a blissful, peaceful, and mutually happy relationship had barely lasted 6 months, Penny Junor said it was especially harsh. Even though they were broken-hearted, Charles and Camilla stayed good friends. According to popular belief, Andrew Parker Bowles was aware that the betrayed lovers had restarted their romance by the end of 1978 or beginning of 1979. According to Junor, Andrew was in no position to complain, and when he discovered what was going on, he wisely didn't make a fuss. Regardless, Charles's hidden relationship did not alter the reality that he needed to find a wife. He began an affair with the supposedly virginal 19-year-old heiress Diana Spencer in 1980. Even though she was the ideal spouse for Charles, who was 32 years old, their marriage was certain to fail. Charles allegedly proposed on February 3, 1981, after the pair had met just 13 times in the 6 months leading up to the big day. After being engaged, Diana sought refuge in Buckingham Palace, where she allegedly suffered from feelings of loneliness and isolation. It was Camilla's invitation to dine with Diana that first sparked Diana's suspicions when Charles was away on tour in Australia. According to Andrew Morton's Diana, her true story, in her own words, Camilla inquired many times if Diana intended to go hunting once she relocated to Highgrove. Camilla seemed to relax as Diana, perplexed by the strange inquiry, responded no. In retrospect, Diana saw that Camilla was attempting to maintain her bond with Charles by capitalizing on his love of hunting. Diana found a solid gold bracelet that Charles had crafted for Camilla not long before their July 1981 wedding. The charm bracelet had a pendant with the initials F and G etched on it. These are said to represent the nicknames that Charles and Camilla used, Fred and Gladys, which were influenced by an illustration from The Goon Show. Despite Diana's furious confrontation with Charles, he persisted on giving Camilla the present 2 days prior to the wedding. Camilla gave Charles cufflinks with 2 interlocking C's, and he wore them even on their honeymoon. I said, "Camilla gave you those, didn't she?" Diana recounted. "Indeed, my dear," he remarked. "They're from a friend. We got into a big argument," she said. Complete and utter jealousy. In the end, it wasn't all that creative, but the 2 C's were a good concept. In 1986, while Charles and Diana's marriage was crumbling, rumors surfaced that Charles resumed his romance with Camilla. Even Diana knew, so she begged Camilla to keep her distance. "You have 2 lovely children, and every man on earth falls head over heels for you. Just what are you looking for?" "I'm sorry I'm in your way, and I know it must be terrible for you and your husband," Diana said in response. "I want my husband. However, I am aware of the situation. Please don't be so dim-witted with me." In a 1994 interview with ITV, Charles said, "Yes, until it became irretrievably broken down, us both having tried." This was just 3 months after Charles and Diana's public separation. The press also obtained a full audio recording of a private phone conversation between Charles and Camilla from 1989. Charles joked about turning into a menstruation product in response to Camilla's teasing that he may transform into underwear. "Oh my goodness, a Tampax! I was unlucky." His laughter filled the air. "My misfortune is that I will be thrown down the toilet and will remain suspended in mid-air, never to descend. That is, until the following one shows up. Guarding Diana, Protecting the Princess Around the World," written by Ken Worf, Diana's former personal protection officer, detailed the princess's reaction to the leaked discussion. As she clutched a copy of the transcript, Diana allegedly exclaimed, "Game, set, and match," in her initial excitement. Did many members of the royal family, including Queen Elizabeth II, approve of this romance before her death? Keep watching to find out. 1 year following Diana's death in 1997, Charles and Camilla finally made their love public after many years of scandals and speculations. The couple's first public appearance together was at Camilla's sister's 1999 birthday party at the Ritz. In 2003, Camilla, who is now the Queen Consort, moved into Clarence House, Charles's official London residence. An astounding 35 years after their first meeting, they were married on April 9, 2005, following a formal announcement of their engagement 2 years later. In a joint statement, Charles hailed the event as a very special day for us and our families. Princes William and Harry added their congratulations, saying, "We are both very happy for our father and Camilla, and we wish them all the best in the future." Growing up, the princes knew all too well about the adultery that plagued their parents' marriage and had seen firsthand the heartbreak of their parents' divorce. According to Angela Levin, a royal specialist, the princes first met Camilla not long before planning a surprise 50th birthday celebration for their father. According to Camilla, From Outcast to Queen Consort, written by Levin, William's unscheduled arrival in London on June 12, 1998, prompted Camilla to offer to go, but her aide, Amanda McManus, argued that they should meet sooner rather than later. William nodded in agreement. The meeting proceeded as smoothly as anyone could have hoped, and they chatted for around 30 minutes. William was sociable, and Camilla was considerate enough to wait for the relationship to blossom without forcing him to answer any tough issues. After some time had passed, William and Camilla had lunch together once more. Following that, Harry had to meet his stepmother-to-be. It was stated that Harry and Camilla's first encounter was a positive move, even though their relationship was allegedly more problematic. For a long time, Charles's mother, Queen Elizabeth II, refused to meet Camilla, despite her genuine dedication to him. At King Constantine of Greece's 60th birthday celebration in 2000, the late Queen accepted an invitation. Camilla was also present at the event, which took place at Charles's home, Highgrove. A few short years later, on the occasion of her reign's 70th anniversary, the Queen made known her sincere wish that her son, Prince Charles, would be acknowledged as Britain's Queen Consort upon his coronation. In his last letter to his subjects, the late monarch expressed his hope that Camilla would be formally recognized as Queen Consort when the time comes, so that she may continue her devoted service to the monarchy. He also expressed his confidence that his son Charles would receive the same level of support from his subjects as he had from his own wife, Camilla. Has Camilla's pleasant character won over the people and made them more concerned about her when King Charles dies? She now has the title of Queen Consort. Keep watching to find out. The Queen plays an important role in supporting numerous causes through her roles as patron or president of over 100 charities and organizations. Along with her other honorary titles, she is the Chief Medical Officer of the Royal Navy. In January 2012, she personally awarded medals to Navy medical crews returning from duty in Afghanistan during a visit to the training ship HMS Excellent. Aside from this, she was made a bencher of the esteemed legal organization Gray's Inn in February 2012 and is an honorary member of many other patronages. The ceremonial job of Chancellor of the University of Aberdeen, which entails giving degrees to graduating students, was assumed by the Queen in February 2013. She formally took up her position in June 2013, making history as the first woman and first member of the royal family to occupy the chancellorship since its creation in 1860. In 2018, during the Commonwealth Big Lunch at Barncroft Primary School, Camilla met a group of youngsters bearing flags from the Commonwealth and several countries. She has been a noticeable presence at countless events. How do you feel about the arrangements that have been made for Queen Camilla following the death of King Charles? Is this the last act of her reign as Queen Consort? Post a comment below to inform us. We appreciate you taking the time to view this movie, and we hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and like the video. To see the next video and read up on your favorite celeb news, click here. We will meet there.